Speciaal voor Business Channel is de CEO van Invest Macedonia, Visar Fida, ingevlogen naar Nederland.
We decided to give that money back to the companies in order that companies can develop themselves and reinvest in their businesses.
Ook blikken we in deze uitzending vooruit op komende zomer. Business Channel vaart erop uit met Business Channel on Water.
Ik zeg, let wel op. Ik zeg, want je komt er nooit meer vanaf. Hè? Van het vaart.
Mission of the diplomacy everywhere is to help develop business.
De Republiek Macedonië is een land gelegen in het midden van de Balkan in Zuidoost-Europa. Het grenst aan Bulgarije, Servië, Albanië en Griekenland. Sinds december 2005 is Macedonië kandidaat voor toetreding tot de Europese Unie. De hoofdstad van Macedonië is Skopje. Het land telt ruim 2 miljoen inwoners en heeft een beroepsbevolking van 0,7 miljoen. Opvallend is het hoge werkloosheidscijfer van bijna 30%.
Vandaag geen ambassadeur. En waarom niet? Een land dat ongelooflijk groeiend is. Ze staan in de top 25 vandaag de dag. Vanwege hun hervormingen. Ik dacht, ik moet u kennis laten maken. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ron. Thank you.
To let people know what Macedonia is.
Well, Macedonia is a small country in the heart of southeastern Europe. We are a country that is not very well known worldwide, especially not that well known from the business side. We introduced in 2006 the flat tax system, which means that companies today in Macedonia pay 10% flat tax on personal income and on corporate tax. But that is only if you decide to give your money as a dividend. If you keep your money in the company or reinvest it, then you pay no taxes in Macedonia.
To achieve that, you need a government who has a vision and who is stable. Is that the case?
That is the case. Our government has a vision to develop the country.
The main goals of the government?
The main goal of the government, especially from the part that I see, is to try to develop the economy. And we are doing pretty well on that. We have a constant increase in our economy. Last year we had 3.1% increase in our GDP. So we are doing relatively good in those times of not so good economic climate worldwide.
Wanneer je naar het BNP in Macedonië kijkt, zie je ook dat er in de jaren voor 2013 sprake is van een constante groei. Structurele hervormingen zorgen ervoor dat het groeipotentieel van Macedonië steeds meer toeneemt. En dat biedt voor u als ondernemer kansen.
Lithuania, the best kept secret in Europe.
But who are you? How you became head of the investment part of Macedonia?
Well, I was born in Macedonia. I lived for a while in different countries worldwide. I lived and studied in Austria. I studied there electrical engineering at the Vienna Technical University. I worked for a very well-known world brand or world company called Siemens for a number of years, almost 80 years, in different parts of the world. And some 80 years ago, I decided to go back to Macedonia and try to give my contribution to help the country come out of the economic difficulties and try to improve the living standard there.
You don't know, but I started my career at Siemens. So.
Well, that's a good company to start in. That's true. That's true.
Are you married? Do you have children?
I'm married and I have one small boy. He's 4.5 years old. The only bad thing in my job is that I don't get to see him very often, but I try to see him as much as I can.
But you got Skype, you got the face.
That's true. That's true. But small kids need the connection.
Yeah.
You're
traveling around 260, 280 days a year?
Yeah, well, the main focus in my job is to try to promote country worldwide because, to be honest, Macedonia is not very well known. Being a small country in southeastern Europe, so we are doing we are trying in different ways to promote our country. We do business forums around the world, but I also try to communicate companies and to get in touch with them personally and to tell our story to the companies in order to give them a better picture and maybe have them come and at least visit Macedonia, and then they will make up their minds by themselves. Do they like it? What is it what they like in Macedonia and so on.
I read something about Macedonia, the new business haven. What does it mean?
As I mentioned at the beginning, we call ourselves the new business heaven in Europe, which means we talked about the taxes a little bit, but we did also a lot of other reforms, like we invested a lot and we are still investing a lot in our education. We introduced mandatory high school for everyone in Macedonia, but we also made universities for free for every Macedonian citizen, which means that everyone who wants to study in Macedonia can study in Macedonia.
Als ondernemer tref je een gunstige arbeidsmarkt aan in Macedonië. 6% van het BNP wordt geïnvesteerd in educatie. En ruim 40% van de bevolking is 30 jaar of jonger. Daarnaast wordt 95% van de gediplomeerde scholieren aangenomen op een universiteit.
Which doesn't mean that all of them finish it, but a good number of them does. And companies are also relatively happy in Macedonia because they find a very well skilled workforce in Macedonia.
What I read about Macedonia is one of the main sectors is agriculture. More than 400,000 people are working in that sector.
Yeah, we are traditionally agricultural land, but we also do a lot in breeding and propagation of young plants. So a lot of people work in that sector, and that makes a good portion of our GDP. We also, the government supports the agricultural sector with different programs, so agriculture is also picking up a lot in Macedonia.
But all these educated people, which kind of new sectors are coming up? Tourism, technology?
We are trying to develop the different sectors that are more important for the companies. For example, in the last 5-6 years, a lot of automotive companies decided to do their investments in Macedonia. So we are trying to motivate people to go to technological sciences, so that they have a ready working place for them once they finish the university. But we also cooperate very closely with companies. For example, I don't know, a good technological company decides to come to Macedonia. The government, in coordination with them, talks to the universities to design specific programs for the company so that they have long-lasting, available workforce for their specific business.
I am ready to cooperate. I'm ready to answer all the questions. We are ready, and that's why we are here.
Which kind of automotive companies are already active in Macedonia?
We have a couple of, in the automotive industry, known brands. Like, I will mention a couple of names, English Johnson Matthey,
Okay.
American Johnson Controls, but also a couple of big ones from Germany, like Krombert and Schubert, Drexelmeier, Marquardt, a couple of other American companies like Amphenol. Indeed, one of those divisions of Amphenol was placed here in Holland, and they decided to grow their business in Macedonia. They are building now the telecommunication antennas in Macedonia.
And you achieve it through Holland?
Well, we achieved it through communicating with the companies, through introducing Macedonia to them. They came, visited, and they liked it, so they decided to build an Amphenol hub in Macedonia, in the city in Eastern Macedonia.
Let's go back to the labor market. I read something about the average salary monthly in agriculture is around 360 euro.
That's true. The average salary, gross salary, is around 360 euro, and the average gross salary in Macedonia is around 500 euro.
Straks na de break praat Ron verder met Visar Fida over business en Macedonië. En blikken we vooruit op komende zomer.
Ik zeg, let wel op. Ik zeg, want je komt er nooit meer vanaf, hè, van het varen.
Tot zo! Welkom terug bij Business Channel, het programma dat gaat over nationaal en internationaal ondernemen. Deze week staat in het teken van business met Macedonië. Host Ron praat erover met de heer Fida, CEO van Invest Macedonia. Hij is speciaal voor Business Channel naar Nederland overgevlogen.
Your unemployment, 28%?
That's true. The unemployment is unfortunately relatively high. Now it's 28%. It used to be a bit higher. What is unfortunately for us a huge number, it is a chance for companies to pick up their people from a bigger pool of good educated and skilled workforce.
Is it because the companies still doesn't know the opportunity of Macedonia?
Unfortunately, yeah, that's a part of it, but we are trying, as I mentioned before, we are trying to promote Macedonia, and more companies are picking up and deciding to see Macedonia as a hub, especially for the European market, since being a small country, you know, we don't represent a big market for, especially for big companies. But we decided to do something against it, so we signed free trade agreements with almost every country in Europe.
That's the next question, because I read something about your domestic market is around 360 million.
The domestic market is around 650 million.
650
Yeah,
million?
that's the number of the population of the countries that we signed free trade agreements with. We signed free trade agreement with the European Union, with all of the EFTA and CEFTA countries, and Turkey and Ukraine, which makes it around 650 million people.
Explain
market.
to the viewers, what does it mean?
Having a free trade agreement means that whatever you produce in Macedonia will be treated like produced in the country that you are trying to, or you are exporting to.
Let's talk a little bit more about Macedonia itself. Tourism?
Tourism is one of the sectors that we really want to develop. Macedonia is not a country that has hundreds of kilometers of shores, but we have a different kind of a tourism. Leisure tourism, mountain tourism, historical tourism. We have also a very big potential in spa tourism, because we have waters, a lot of them, which help to develop the spa tourism in Macedonia. And it's picking up a lot, especially from this region, from Holland, from Finland. We had last year 50% increase in Dutch tourists compared to the year before.
Te komen, maar ja, zo is het leven nou eenmaal. No guts, no glory.
I want to invest in Macedonia. What are the do and what are the don'ts?
Well, in Macedonia, you have a very good business climate. And that's not only according to the government, that's also according to the world institutions. One of them is the World Bank that does the Ease on Doing Business report. We started on that report some 80 years ago on the 96th place out of 185 countries. And today, or last year, we were placed on the 25th place, which puts us ahead 21 countries out of 28 EU countries. So we tried to cut everything that was a burden for businesses. We tried to cut bureaucracy procedures. We tried to do one-stop shops wherever we could. You can register a company in Macedonia within 4 hours. But we also tried to eliminate all kinds of personal contacts with the bureaucracy, you know, in order to make life easier for businesses, because they don't have time to lose in different offices. They want to go and do what they do best, do their business.
You help them with partners, you help them with
we help them also in different ways. We created free economic zones in Macedonia for manufacturing. So most of the companies that come in Macedonia go to those free economic zones. They can stay there for 10 years tax-free, which means they don't pay any kind of taxes, no matter if they distribute it as a dividend. Also try to support them with building facilities, with training for the young employees. We have defined different packages for companies depending on the project, on the size of the project, on what kind of project it is. Depending on that, we try to support them with different ways.
What can Macedonia learn from the Dutch?
We do learn a lot from the Dutch. We have very good connection with Holland for 20 years now. Holland helped us a lot through those 20 years with different supportive programs, but also with motivating their own companies to come to Macedonia, not only open new working places, but also bring us the know-how so that business that is developed in Macedonia is also sustainable.
What can the Dutch learn from the Macedonians?
Well, they should come and visit us first, and maybe they will find something that is hopefully worth learning from Macedonia. I believe there is always something.
Last question.
Please.
If I want to go invest in Macedonia, how is the process?
Well, you can always turn to our agency. We are a state-owned agency. We don't charge anything. We are paid by the government, by our citizens, so We support every company that comes to Macedonia, which means that we are together with them from the first day on. Once you come to visit Macedonia, we show you around, we share you the information that you need. You have everything in one shop, so to say.
One-stop shop.
A one-stop shop, that's true, yeah. And then we are together with you through the investment, but we don't leave you alone after the investment as well. We are there to see how are you doing, do you have any kind of problems, is there any new need for you or something. We will be all the time with the investors, so we are designed like that to help you on a long-term stay in Macedonia and be happy there.
So, next step, Macedonia.
Hopefully, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ron. Thanks a lot.